Let's start season off 1-0. And here it is, Coach. How are you?
Good. How are you? What's going on, Stevie?
It's going well. Thanks so much for joining us. Uh, Great win today. Talk about how you thought the first game went here for you guys.
It was good. Listen, going up to Wilbur Cross is not an easy environment, and I think it took us a little while just to kind of realize the season began, and just a little bit of adrenaline, and we're missing some shots early, and then boom, and then I think we just kind of got our flow. Sam got us going in the second quarter. Sam and Mason both got us going in the second quarter, and then our defense has kind of stayed consistent throughout the entire night. So I was happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the defense, right? I mean, I saw in that second quarter, I mean, it was a 22-4 quarter for you, and that defense again generating that offense, right? I mean, talk about that defense in the second quarter, how you guys were able to just jump out that game because it was a close game in the first quarter, but not at halftime.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they were hitting some really difficult shots in the first quarter. And we kind of, just we talk about eventually those difficult shots are they're eventually not going to go. And I thought we did a really good job in the second quarter. Again, when like the makes Sam getting hot and the makes kind of start to build momentum and everyone was just a little bit more engaged uh, but I was really proud of our ability also to rebound it. We struggled rebounding it early, Steve. Again, they're big and their size and their athleticism and like kind of getting used to what the speed and the size was took us a quarter and a half to do so. But our ability to get stops and to rebound it allowed us to get out in transition and start to hit shots. It was yeah, I was pleased.
Yeah, and we'll talk individually here. I want to
Yeah.
first talk about Mason. I think Mason had a great game. He led your team with 19 points, right? I mean, you talked about the bigs, and it didn't seem like they had much of an answer. He moved pretty well around the court.
Yeah, I mean, a game like that, where you're going to an away gym, we've been shooting in our gym every single day. You go to a away gym. I kind of felt like we were going to struggle early shooting it. I love getting Mason involved early in games, which we did. And then he just really, was able to finish at the rim and, we got good looks there. And then once he started making shots. I think that gave us a lot of confidence
Yeah.
and shooting was kind of contagious, even though it was just layups seeing the ball go in the basket a bunch of times for him. The rest of the guys seeing the ball go in the basket for him really, I think, allowed everybody else to feel a little bit at ease and just realize that everything was going to be okay.
Yeah, and and you saw Sam when Sam started getting hot, and and Dylan hit some shots too in that quarter. I mean, your shooters are going to be there. It's tough. I mean, like you said, you've been shooting your gym, but overall, how you think the team? I think you shot. It was a pretty good shooting percentage. I think as a team you shot around 65%. So that's pretty good.
Feel great. I mean, I thought,
Yeah,
yeah, we were. I think we were 65%, and I think we were 33% from three, if my
correct.
math
30,
is right.
33% from three and 65 from two. Yeah,
Yeah,
overall.
and again, I think it's just it's always harder to shoot away from the junkyard, and
Right.
but we got adjusted, and then I think the shot started to flow. But everything's predicated on our defense.
Mhm.
Being able to give up. It was 14-13 after one, and then to give up 26 points in the entire game really speaks volumes. I thought our defensive positioning was phenomenal, really throughout the entire game. They were communicating.
Yeah.
I think we were able to kind of impose our will defensively. And as long as we were able to complete the possession with a rebound, which we kind of did after the first 3 or 4 minutes, we were able to get out, and I think we're pretty good in transition.
Yeah, and like I said, I saw a lot of things today from that we've seen over, since I think you've kind of turned, Staples basketball team into a program, right? And since you've taken it over, this program, we see some characteristic of the team we've seen all these years. Tough defense, taking charges. The guys did a great job of taking a bunch of charges, even when the offense wasn't there. What do you think? Is this team any different than the teams you've coached? Anything you've seen? I mean, I know it's just one game, but you've seen in practice that kind of, tells you what this team's going to be like this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got some really good senior leadership. We have 8 seniors. Um, I will say that I think it's probably of the 4 teams that I've coached, it's the team that has worked the hardest as a unit during the 9 months between when we stopped playing in March and tonight. Um, so that's always a really good sign. There's obviously kids that we miss and that were very impactful in our program over the last 4 years. And this group's got some work ahead of them. but they've worked really hard. They care a lot about basketball, and they've won a lot of games. This is kind of my first class through, right? I was my first year is now
Yeah,
that was their freshman year, so
that's right.
um, it's nice to see. What we've done. We have some kids like Sam and Mason who've been in the program. Jack have been in the program for and on the JV or varsity level for 4 years now, and then Drew and Jared and Maddie, who stepped into his role very well, and so it's we've done a good job of this group has done a good job. I'm excited to coach them this year.
Yeah, and listen, you it's Wilbur Cross. I mean, they're a good team, and you came in and it's a 42 points. It really, I think your defense really dictated the game today. Uh, Anything that you saw that in a game like this? I know you gave a lot of the guys played, but anything you saw today that you think you're concerned about, need to improve on, or was it pretty smooth sailing?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that like at times we got pushed off our spot offensively,
Hmm.
where I think we have to against some of the bigger, more physical teams. I think we have to work a little bit harder off the ball in order to get to our spots and not get pushed off of them. I didn't. I thought we, you know, it's. I thought we didn't do a good job rebounding in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. I don't think we came out with the same type of intensity that I would have liked to see us come out with. Um, I think it's just they got to continue to be in good defensive position and continue to communicate and continue to, just get better every single day. Um, and, hopefully we'll continue to do so.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to talk preseason, so I kind of want to just tackle a little bit, before as we got an audience here about last season.
Yeah.
Uh, FCX championship I know is pretty special. Saw a lot of article, a lot of things came on. Congrats on winning Coach of the Year. I know you did that. You got an award from Dave. I know it was pretty big, but just summarize a little bit last year for us.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, that it's a staff award. My staff is awesome, Pick and JB and Sully, and now we've added two coaches with Coach Cass and Coach LeProd. Like, I've got a great staff. And it last year was special. Listen, I think it was special. I was proud of the kids after you lose a kid in the caliber of Sam and being able to step up the way we did and really not to lose a beat was something that was a tribute to what Sam, put these kids through practice all the time. And then Udell just was, determined to do what he does. So it was a special year. It was a real special year for us.
Yeah, and you talked about Sam. I was even looking at his stats. I mean, he tonight he had like eight assists. He is a guy who so unselfish, and you said it so much more. And how does you think the teams he play on kind of takes on that mentality, and what he does, his leadership on and off the court?
Yeah, I mean he had a phenomenal offseason. He had just a phenomenal offseason, not just from a basketball perspective. First of all, he's in school and he's going to play at an awesome program for a great
Yeah,
coach. And but he just developed a lot maturity wise, leadership wise. I thought the two of us got closer during the offseason, which is great. And when your best player is your hardest worker, you've got good things coming with your team. So again, he just matured and he had a great offseason. I'm proud of him.
yeah. It was really impressive me. Like you said, yeah, you always end up asking about weaknesses, right? But I mean, the game today, I think, like you said, aside from the it's rough start because it's the first game of the season. Everybody's going to be like a little shaky, but I mean, and then, but talk a little bit about your second unit. I thought they came in that third quarter towards the end there. Kids like Henry, and Ryan and Jared have played so well. But what do you expect those guys come in and contribute? And Drew as well. Drew came in early, and Jack. All those guys played so well. How do you see that second unit coming in and supporting those your first unit?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty hard on our second unit yesterday in
I was
practice, to
I
be
was gonna say
honest with
that
you.
because I mean
I
even today
was,
you were
I was,
coaching them so hard during that
I,
the end
w-
of that game. I'm like,
I
well, he's
was.
coaching hard.
I was hard on them. It was interesting. It was a messy practice for them, but it was a really good practice for them. And
Uh,
sometimes your messiest practices are your best ones. And I was tough.
right.
I was tough on them yesterday, because I know how important they are to the success of what we're trying to do. I was really pleased. Jared had 4 rebounds.
Yeah.
Jack was doing the things that Jack does. Ryan Marcus was handling pressure. Henry, had a great defensive stop, and then just was his offensive positioning was outstanding. He had a seal on on a little high low action. Um, they're getting better. They're constantly getting better. They understand that 6 through 10 is very important, and the greater depth you have, there are going to be nights where people get into foul trouble, and you know and people aren't having their nights, and being able to come in and not to miss a beat is incredibly important. So I was really really good effort for them tonight.
Yeah, even like one play sticks in my mind. I think it was Henry had a cut, and then Jack found him right under the basket. You saw the movement from those guys. And they were playing well. So I really thought that they came in, they kept the level, and like I said, I noticed how hard you were coaching them. I'm like, he's up by 45, and he's still like coaching his guards hard. You gotta love to see that. You love to see that.
I mean, listen, that it's we they need it, right? They need it. Everybody needs it, right? And
Yeah.
there's always stuff that we can work on and improve on. And you know, I was I was really tough on them yesterday. So for them to rebound the way that they did, and to be able to come in and be able to extend the lead and play with passion, and they did the little things which were really super impressed. They team rebounded as a unit really, really well. They moved the basketball, they shared it, they cut, they did all the things that we kind of preach as a program. So it was a good day for Staples Hoops.
Yeah, transition offense was great, especially in the second quarter. I mean, you guys ran the floor. Dylan still hitting those open shots in transition. I mean, you got to love that what you saw from them there for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah.
so now let's talk about the season. I know that it starts slow, but then it picks up really, really strong, right? Uh, and I know the coaches don't like to look ahead, but let's talk about the FCAC this year and how do you see that playing out for your team?
Yeah, I mean, we have some really tough out of state games coming up in the next, week. We play a team from New York City.
Saw that, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they have a storied reputation for being, a top Catholic school in the country. And then we also play a really tough Ramapo team from Jersey. So we're right out of the gate with some really good competition. Listen, the FCX a great conference that is going to be an absolute war every single night. And we've been reading, it's hard not to read the stuff about where we sit and
Right.
all the rest of that,
I was
but
gonna
but
ask
like
you about that next, but go ahead. You can
yeah,
go
I
into
mean,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, like it's harder to stay on top of it, and stay on top of the mountain than to get on top of the mountain. It's just harder to stay there. People are coming at you, so coaching them harder and making sure that we're just making every play one play at a time. And once the ball's tipped in every game, like all the noise about whether you're favorites or not, like it just goes out the window. It's just about executing and defending and rebounding, and then doing and do offensively. So, but the conference is great. There are some incredibly talented, formidable teams with some great coaching, and it's like the Big East. Like every single night, you're on the road or you're home. It's just going to be a battle, and we all know each other so well that it'll be a fun couple months.
It'll be great. And listen, we can just like this game, but I do want to ask something that I got asked twice. Uh, after I think it was probably after the FCX final between those things, like they said, you've been closest guy, and what have you seen? And I'll ask you, has there been anything that has because I think you've turned, used to be, and I wasn't doing this when before you came in, so but my whole tenure has been with you, but a lot of talk is it used to be a team and now it's a program. Have you done? Can you put your finger on anything that you've done that has made this such a special place to play basketball?
I think it's not one thing,
Hmm.
Steve. I think it's everything. I think it's the fact that we had a great first group, a really tightly knit first group my
Right.
first year. I'll even go back to what Coach Devine did, right? Like so, setting us up for success. He kind of we won 40 and 17 the 3 years prior to me getting there. So like we were on the cusp of doing something special. I had a really good first class, and then you know um and then when you get to coach athletes like Chris Ajak and Caleb Smith and Adam Udell and God, I can go through all of them, Cody Sale, just through the line of kids that are just tough kids who really care about winning, and care for each other and play for each other. um it's it kind of just snowballs. I could go anywhere. I can go to my staff, and how great a job my staff has done, and then I can go to our youth program and talk about the great job that Jordan Schur has done with PAL, um, and the parental support and what they've done, and just the way that the SBA, my board, is like. It's like you're running an organization,
Yeah.
and
It's a program.
it's
It's like
it's a
it's like
program. It's a
yeah.
program. Yeah, it's a program. So, it's really, I don't think it's one thing. I've tried to empower everybody as much as I possibly can to do what they do, and try not to be the smartest guy in the room. And we've, knock on wood, we've had some success. I'm really excited about this group, and future groups. We just got to keep getting 1% better every day, which is the first quote when I got the job, that someone said. It's just 1% better every single day.
Yeah. Well, if you do that, there's no ceiling, right? Because you just keep growing and growing and growing. Let's finalize here. I know you've got games coming up, like you said. We have a holiday tournament too coming up, right? We do the holiday tournament this year.
We're not in the holiday tournament. We're playing in like a holiday classic on
Classic, right?
Sunday, and then we have our first home opener, which we're also honoring the 25 lacrosse state championship. That's Tuesday night, next Tuesday night,
Nice.
and then we're actually, I think we open up our FCAC schedule earlier this year because of a tournament we're playing in January. So we're on the road in Stanford on the 27th, and we're just focused on Sunday now.
Yeah, and listen, it's gonna be special. The one of the cross there. I know we're gonna be live there doing a pregame. We got some. Hopefully, Coach K, Adam would join us. So we had some guys come up and talk about it because I think Adam is special because he's on both teams, and it'll be a good night for him.
That's
I
great.
know that you guys should always be very proud of this. But Coach, I want to thank you for a few minutes here. And then I know it was a great night, like I said, for basketball. I think it's going to be a great season. Like I said, you're not reading. I'm reading a lot about it. A lot of people are picking you to be playing that last day of FCAC, and I know it's a big deal for you. Play the last day of FCAC.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen. I think we have goals this year that we want to try to achieve, and we just got to compete against ourselves, compete against what we were yesterday. That's really the main goal. But one thing I'll say, so happy to have you back.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
And it's just what you do for all of us, is just amazing. So, you
I
know,
listen. I can't wait to
we
get
got we
back to the
got to
game.
go to your GoFundMe page, and let's get this thing going, because what you do for these kids is awesome, Steve. It really
You know,
is.
I appreciate it, Coach. Listen, I can't wait to get back to the game, be back in the gym. We're going to do that, as soon as you guys are back. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I enjoy, like, watching the games here. It's a lot of fun, but it's nothing like being in the gym. It's like, and I tell everyone, get to the game, because once you feel that energy there, and especially for basketball, I think everybody's just so close there. You kind of feel the game, And we're doing, like, the guys are bouncing balls off our podium. We love that. That's what we live for.
We Yeah, and listen, we only have 8 home games this year.
Yeah,
Hopefully, as we continue, we'll have some in the playoffs if we have some success. But get out to the gym and be loud, and home court advantage. The kids love it, and I just want have a town event and keep it going.
for
So
sure. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Listen, we'll make sure this gets posted on the channel. The people who couldn't join us, they can watch later. But Coach, again, thanks so much. Congratulations, and we'll see you guys next game.
Talk to you soon, Steve. Be good, bud.
Take
Thanks.
care. Have a good
Bye
night.
bye.